Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the webinar on strengthening partnership in trade and investment with Mauritius. Before I get to my formal introductions, please enjoy the short video on investing in Mauritius. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another virtual All-Fashion Sourcing 2020 session focused on strengthening partnership in trade and investment with Mauritius. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our speakers today, Mr. Girish Bhaktawant Singh. He's the head of manufacturing, traditional sectors at the Economic Development Board. His expertise in strategic management and international marketing. He served more than 20 years in key management positions, both local and international, with reputable organizations. Then I would like to introduce Yuki Yang. He's the founder of SA Knits, a South African-based clothing manufacturer that supplies all major clothing retailers in the Republic. His clients include Pick n Pay, Miladys, Mass Supply, Edcon, Foschini Group, Retailability, Pep, Ackermans, and ShopRite. And they've had significant growth, and there's been an array of widespread opportunities that have presented themselves with the island of Mauritius. And he's got an output capacity of around 80,000 units of knitwear jerseys per month. And he's very busy with his expansion program, which will roll out in 2021, but he'll tell us a little bit more later. And then last but definitely not least, Lawrence Pillay, who's the Global Head of Sourcing, Quality and Innovation, Woolworths South Africa and Country Road Group Australia. We're going to start today's session with Mr. Girish Bhattoa from Mauritius. Girish, over to you.
Thank you, Neil. I should say good afternoon to South Africa. Good afternoon to Mauritius too. Good afternoon to Africa. And thank you very much to All Fashion Sourcing for the opportunity given to me for this dialogue, which is related to what is important, partnership. And when we talk about partnership, we are talking about partnership between an island of Indian Ocean, true, but an island of Africa, with another rainbow nation, South Africa, and with the whole African continent that we all belong. And this is even more relevant at the moment while the world is going through this pandemic of COVID-19. It is important that we fine-tune our vision, our shared vision, with how we believe the new decades will be, with how we believe South Africa, Africa as a continent, should be modeling itself to address the challenges that what we are facing. This is very important. Second, what is important again is with regards to what we Mauritius, we are looking to position ourselves, okay? Mauritius is known to South Africa. Mauritius is known to Africa. There is no necessity for me to speak about what Mauritius is at a glance. But what is important to say or to stress is with regards to a small island like Mauritius, with practically no natural resources, the major resources being human beings. What is important is how over the last decades, Mauritius has been able to sustain an economic growth from nearly an average of 3% from 1983 to up to last year, just prior to the pandemic. This is very important in order to consolidate the trust or to build a new trust that we need with regards to how we want this region to be developed. Mauritius is what's important for a small country like Mauritius, and we have over the last 5 decades since getting independence, developed a number of sectors. It's an amazing story for a country that was only growing sugarcane, and how in the last 5 decades have developed a number of sectors. When I'm talking about manufacturing sector contributed 12.5% in GDP, I'm talking about a partnership that we have developed also with Woolworths, Truworths, and so many South African buyers. When we're talking about real estate, so many South Africans now that have elected Mauritius as their second destination. No need to tell you in the tourism, the number of big manors from South Africa, which is present among some group of companies and all. And all this to tell you that these economic sectors have been able to develop because of a certain partnership that exists between Mauritius and a number of international players and a number of players that came from Africa, from South Africa, from Europe, and from other countries. So it's key when I stress about the partnership we need, because in partnership we'll be able to conquer the major markets. With partnership we are going to mold another Africa. With partnership, we also can be positioning ourselves as a major sourcing destination. There are a number of hurdles, there are a number of challenges, but together it's possible. Together we can. Yes, in that particular ecosystem that Mauritius have developed, true, there was certain advantage that Mauritius need to give in order to attract the necessary investor or the necessary partners to come to Mauritius. And one of the major point has been that Mauritius has been a democratic country since independence from 1968 to now, and the stress has been on political stability, rule of law, safety, security. This has been very important in order to attract this foreign base, this international players, these partners in our quest of a particular visions of moving ahead on the competitive curve. Sure, there have been a number of measures, and no capital gain tax, foreign tax credit, or even lastly, the 3% tax rate on the profit. All these are together when it comes to give Mauritius a particular advantage, an advantage to differentiate a bit ourselves from a number of other competitors that we have. And this continuous effort, this consistent effort, this credible effort, which have implied the participation of so many of the whole country, of international players, of stakeholders coming from abroad, has helped to make a competitive and attractive business climate. And of course, it's not coincidence to have been able to secure a number of privileged ranks in the different indexes that we are having in the world. We want the pride that we have been able to do it alone. We have been able to do it in partnership, and that's why we have been able to be number 13 in the World Bank Ease of Doing Business. So it's a quite remarkable achievement for a small country like Mauritius, and a number of accolades that we have been able to sustain. This is also very important, to be able to sustain at the Mo Ibrahim Index of Africa Governance for the last 10 years approximately, to stand as number 1 in Africa. So all these credits is not only from the perspective of policymakers, but a partnership that have been built with a number of stakeholders. And Mauritius understanding that it is key to get markets, understanding that we are very small, and we have been developing a number of partnerships with a number of blocks, our duty-free access to Europe, our duty-free access and quota-free access to USA, the SADC bloc, the COMESA bloc, and a number of agreements in negotiation, which aims to extend the market under which you can operate. And this is very relevant for Mauritius to be able to export to South Africa under SADC, or to be able to export to Europe under the IEPA, to be able to export under AGOA, of course, taking advantage of the preferential tariff that enable us to enter this particular market. So it's a matter of concern when we look at it, how this region, when you walk from South Africa to go up to Rwanda, we realize the fertile land that we are having. When we walk from South Africa to the north, the number of talented people that we meet. When we walk from here up to the north, we see the number of products that we could have been trading among ourselves, and yet we are looking only in one particular direction. We're still looking toward the west. And the intra-trade that we are doing among ourselves is very less. I'm happy that at least with COVID, everyone is looking at that direction, how to increase this intra-trade, okay? And we at the level of Africa, we have some efforts to be put in order to move up. We are doing only 12%. And whereas, even NAFTA, they are doing 33%. In Europe, it's already 60%. The alliance between us, Asian Pacific, are already doing 70%. So we have a long way to go, but it's chance to start somewhere. And this is the opportunity for us to look at it. We are being supplied by a number of foreign countries. We are exporting our raw material, which is being transformed on another shore. But the concept of made through Africa has to gain a certain momentum, has to develop, has to gain its notoriety, and have to succeed. Mauritius itself, we are a small economy. We're exporting to the world, very less, but we export for a little economy like ours. Of course, you are suffering some decline in our exports. Our total export to Africa is 444 million USD. And out of it, the majority of exports goes to South Africa. So we are doing a number of products, whether than textile, apparel, sugar, needle, or even printing matters. But we want to extend that. And that's why we say the opportunity exists in what we manufacture. We are manufacturing not only textile and apparel. Yesterday, many people's vision was Mauritius is only a touristic resort. No, it's more than that. We are in the manufacturing of textile and apparel, yes, but it's more than that. We are even supplying major brands in Europe, USA. We are even supplying a major football team in Europe. We have developed a food and beverage sector. We are doing a very quality special sugar, rum, preserved fruits and veg, vanilla that we're exporting to US. The seafood is there. We're exporting the medical devices through the preferential tariff to USA. We are engaged in the cutting and polishing of diamond that we sent to Tiffany. So a number of developments have been there, even the assembling of television that we export to Africa. And all these are opportunities of partnership that we can develop to conquer bigger markets. The manufacturing sector in Mauritius is having a contribution of 12.5% to the GDP. And this contribution, this industry can be broken down into textile, apparel, food and beverage. And as you could see, the first industry after independence, sugar, contribute only 1% nowadays. The textile and apparel industry, since I'm addressing the old fashion sourcing, has gone a long way since it started in 1970. At every junction where challenges were required, our operators, our entrepreneurs have been able to rise to the challenge. We started the first textile company, Resultant Limited. They have been today developed into a vertically integrated enterprise. We were more in the knitwear production. Okay, we are still in the knitwear production, despite it's more labor intensive, and we are serving different niche markets into it. Many of the companies have been adopting technologies, and we have been doing it progressively. And today we are going to another level where we want to be more even capital intensive. The adherence to norm, how the market was looking, the development of designs, or even serving major brands as per their exigencies have been all challenges that we have addressed over the decades. The next challenge we want to address is to be able to develop an industry that could, in collaboration, in partnership, conquer other bigger territories, bigger markets. If there's no market, there's no industry. Markets dictate the production. But on the other hand, it's also true. Next door, Africa is coming up with the emergence of the middle class, with a number of smart cities, and also when it comes to our specificity with regards to our design, that we can conquer even other markets. So this is the industry, how it has developed today. And this industry is doing a number of products, from the yarn and fabric, shirt, t-shirt, knitwear, swimwear, denim, shoots, kidswear. But what is important is the innovation that this industry is bringing. When I see companies that come to Mauritius, that they grow their cotton in Madagascar, they develop it into yarn, then they develop even different type of yarns, dyed yarns, cotton yarn, that they are exporting to Africa. This is what we want to see to come up more, to be emulated even more. And when we see the number of companies developing a sustainable line of products, be it in the denim, be it in the different categories of products, to satisfy the exigencies of clients of what they are looking in Europe, in USA, these are all very relevant, and where we are seeing these are opportunities also to make partnership, to make investment in order to rise the production to another level. It's a long way, though, for Mauritius industry, with, of course, the development of spinning mills in the last 2-3 decades, and even newcomers. And there's an opportunity for such investment in the development of yarn, in the development of fabrics, in the dyeing process, which is gaining notoriety with now introduction of cold dyeing, and a number of innovation which is being brought, so that there is space to come and invest in this particular supply chain. Mauritius, we are concerned with sustainability. It's not the concern of only from clients' perspective, but we ourselves, we are investing at different levels so that the policy that we are preach can be implemented. the carbon footprints that we want the companies. I know certain companies developing such garment in view to differentiate itself from the international market. The use of solar panel to generate electricity, the reduction in our greenhouse gases, the treatment plant, or even the dye house, by making use of practically eliminating all toxic chemicals. These form parts in the getting to the DNA of the productions of what it needs to be, because this is what the market also is looking for. But from the small island development state perspective, this is something that we have adhered and we are making it a practice. It's a matter of fact also that at the moment, the pandemic is doing a lot of damages. We have to reinvent the way we are doing business. And if Mauritius have been able up to now to resist COVID-19, we are declared a COVID-free country up to now, is because also the different adaptation, what our people at different levels have been doing. Yes, people are more understanding about working from home. We are also working in our factories. We are also looking, adapting more to the transformation which is required when it comes to do digital activities. We have been going more in terms of digitalization, and the e-platform is gaining in momentum. Of course, the government has come with a number of recovery measures to support the manufacturing sector during the pandemic time, and Yukio will be able to explain about these advantages that his company also took during that pandemic height in Mauritius, and how we manage to be able to, to start our business activities, to open up, and gradually we are opening to even our borders to the world. And that's why I say there are opportunities for the manufacturing sector in Mauritius, which is not limited to textile apparel, whether in the pharmaceutical village that we are talking, whether in the medical device, in the spare parts, in the electronic, in the food and beverage. The opportunities is there. And the opportunity is there for this investment, taking into considerations the market, what we are already exporting, but also taking into consideration how the system is evolving in Mauritius. We have, of course, a big exclusive economic zone. We are talking about its exploitation. True, we are at the moment being exporting tuna, but it's more than that. And also in the creative industry, we are being bilingual country, giving the opportunity, to work in both languages, English and French, or even at the ICT BPO. So all these are opportunities. But all these opportunities become very interesting if one understands the incentives that have been put forward in this context. Already the corporate tax in Mauritius is only 15%. And now for exporting company, the tax is only 3% based on the profit derived from exports. Knowing that we are far from the market, the government has come up with what we call the Trade Promotion and Marketing Scheme. Entrepreneur companies are being refunded up to 40% on the basic air freight costs when it comes to export of their product. And this is very relevant if we want to reach out the most important market of the world, USA, a very important market, EU. We have even this claim which is applicable to Africa as a whole, Australia, Canada, and Middle East countries. And this goes in line also when we talk about our products to reach as fast as possible, the shortest lead time to the market that we are targeting. The freight rebate scheme aims to encourage more trade with Africa. Some 40 ports have been identified, and where Mauritius is giving a particular rebate on the cargo costs when it comes to export to Africa, approximately a refund of $300 per container. So All these advantages implies you can manufacture your product at a competitive price, export it rapidly to important markets, and these markets we having also preferential entry. There's no restriction on ownership for your business, no exchange control, no import duties, and even you can acquire property. So all these advantages aims to give opportunity for potential investors to set up in Mauritius in view to conquer bigger markets, be it the market in Africa, be it the market in EU, be it the market of USA, be it the market of new market, Middle East countries, be it in Australia. So Mauritius being connected to a number of markets where you can develop your niche market for your product. These, in business, we need to have the appropriate infrastructure, and we are investing heavily in the infrastructure, be it the metro, be it the road, be it the industrial park. All these are being developed to the norms that will ease businesses when they are settled in Mauritius. We are very much conscious that the rationale for doing investment on Mauritius have to be satisfied. These criteria have to be satisfied for any potential investor. If at the one level we are developing agreements, we are developing DTAs, IPPAs, we are in the SADC or COMESA group, but the basic rationale remains when one comes to do business. We are looking for high level of security. We are looking for low tax. We are looking for free movement of goods. We are looking for IP production. We are looking for a standard of living, a lifestyle that we identified ourselves. And that's what we believe or will be key incentive to push an investor to consider a place to do business in the region. And this rationale for investment in and from Mauritius have been developed with this perspective. And even with the educated manpower that we are having, the legal services that one needs, the warehousing, the training centers, the finance and accounting, all these are keys for the development, for the establishment of a business in Mauritius. We are an island. We understand that life cannot be only about Jack doing only the work. We believe in work and live in Mauritius because we believe in the mix between working and pleasure. This is an opportunity to do business and to stay, to enjoy the cosmopolitan benefits of living in an island in Mauritius. And that's why a number of incentives came to attract investors to Mauritius, be it for the investor, we ease the occupational permits for investors, for professionals, for self-employed, even for those who want to have a permanent residence in Mauritius. A number of incentives have been put by the government in view to facilitate stakeholders, investors, professionals who wish to operate from Mauritius. Mauritius see itself in a vision of where we want to stand in the years to come. We are concerned about what the whole of Africa is going, is the importance for us to raise our standard of living, and this becomes very relevant if there is more exchange in our business and trade. McKinsey put it clear, there is an estimated of $100 billion could be added to our Africa manufacturing outputs for apparel and other commodities. At the moment, we are importing a lot, but we could have been doing this trade among ourselves. We could have substituted the imports of manufactured products, and we need to reinvent our manufacturing base along a number of dimensions. Mauritius is positioning itself as a front runner in view to attract the necessary investment which aims in the development of the region and finally the upliftment of the people in that whole continent. that where we stand, together we can, together we develop a stronger region, together we make things happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Girish. That was a very, very insightful presentation. I've got a few questions for you quickly, if you don't mind. With exports of 445 million US dollars, AGOA has obviously had a massive impact in the growth of exports to the US. What are the key areas that AGOA has driven this growth? And the second part to that question, with the US election taking place soon, how do you see AGOA moving forward? I know that it's there till 2025, but are you guys worried about the impact of potential change in leadership in the United States and the impact on AGOA?
Yes, since the advent of AGOA in 2000, Mauritius has been a front runner because we believe is that it's our turn, Africa, to be able to get access to the most important market to the world. When it comes to Mauritius, yes, we have been a front runner to the export of textile and apparel, which has enabled our companies to diversify to a market that we were really not focused on. We were focusing more on the EU market, basically. And this has given the opportunity for us to connect with a number of major clients there, and given another dimension in the development of the textile and apparel industry from Mauritius. We know there are many companies who are having their merchandising office here in Mauritius because they use Mauritius as a base, for their exports to USA principally. And even lastly, we have got a couple of companies setting up their merchandising here with this particular rationale. And that's why in the policy of Mauritius, when we have extended the trade and marketing scheme, this has been extended also, this scheme that enable operators to benefit 40% rebate on their air freight scheme. This has been extended to USA and Canada. Okay, both, because we wanted to connect to this market even more strongly. Now, coming to the AGOA, there has been a number of discussions that I had the opportunity to, when I was in South Africa, to meet also with USAID and other key stakeholders from USA. Okay, and up to now, from what I could understand, is obviously AGOA will stand up to 2025. It seems to me they are also collecting feedback of how much they have been a success with African countries, with Mauritius, and what should be, in what way is this partnership, if I can call it like this, between the whole Africa and the most important of the world, market of the world, USA, could be developed. So from perspective of what I could read and understand, okay, I'm cautiously optimistic about the extension of AGOA.
Great, thank you, Girish. So obviously, in your presentation, you spoke about COVID. Just to talk a little bit and unpack that a little bit more. So the impact of COVID on the broader industry we've mentioned, but what about the smaller manufacturers on the ground? How long do you feel this has set the Mauritius trade and textile industries back? Is it going to take a year to get back to where you were? Is it going to take a little bit longer than that? What's your personal view on that, Girish?
Yeah, we have been able, luckily, to manage COVID up to now, okay? And our factories in the last 3 months are open, okay? Even the small, like the big, they are manufacturing. If there's a challenge, the challenge has been with regards to their traditional clients and the markets and the disruption in the supply chain, because the demand should come from the market east, and the market principally be it in Europe or USA, the market is not operating as it were. We have seen the challenges of the season and all how this is affecting the whole supply chain. But be it small and medium companies, we have been able, even to maintain our working relationship with South Africa, with a number of clients. The loyalty have been there. While talking with Yukio, he was telling me, as far as I'm concerned, the exports to my clients, there's no difficulty. So it's a challenging time because obviously the order is not of the same quantity. It's a challenging time because also no one can predict exactly what tomorrow will be, okay? But we have to adapt ourselves with regards to what the exigence is here. I was talking with an important client in USA and he's telling me I'm turning to Mauritius because for me, I don't want stock. I want smaller orders. I want it to reach to me fast. And this is what the advantage Mauritius is offering to me. No one wants to spend additional money now on warehousing and storage, okay? I'm talking to even, traditional clients which have been looking to change the way they do business. It's no more going to the particular retail shop, and we have seen the closure of a number of retail shops, and say that, yes, our way of doing business is going to be more and more virtual. And it's more and more, even in the demand of our products, in type of design collection that we used to discuss in the past, are going to have such discussion now online. Okay? So there's a change in the way that business is being done. And how fast we adapt ourselves, how fast we position ourselves as the market open up, hopefully, as we come up with a vaccine that could sort out, probably make the most of the issue. So this is where the challenge is. And that's why we say that it's important to look inside. It's important to look from the perspective of the regional market that we want to develop in parallel to our customers that already exist in Europe or in US.
Great, thanks, Girish. I think the key thing for me there in what you said was adaptation, and I think adaptation is really the new normal where we are today. There's one more question that's come through from the audience. Sustainability. Obviously, it's a big topic at the moment. There's a spotlight on this, and it's linked to the green economy. What are the key focus areas on the ground with Mauritian manufacturers where they fully embraced the sense of sustainability, where it's a reality more than a myth? I think a lot of people are talking about it, but they're not really applying themselves to sustainability. It's more lip service, but I know you guys, Girish, are doing great work in that scene. So what are the three things that you think are happening on the ground with the manufacturers?
Well, yeah. I must say, when we talk about sustainability, that I will really immediately relate it to the production of Mother Earth, okay? Something that I believe we all must care about, with the difficulties, with the challenges that come with the climate change. So we as a small island development state, okay, we are very much concerned, and we know the issue of what has happened in small islands with the raising of seawater. So we are concerned about that. So that's why in the reality, in the practice, I must tell you, first, even now, the latest action that we took at the level of Economic Development Board, we are encouraging a number of enterprises with the support of Carla International, an international trend focused on, to develop collection of sustainable apparel products. The garment makers in Mauritius have been used to a particular demand that was coming from Europe. You know very well that fashion was key, and the product was developed as per what fashion is looking for. And now the client's mindset have changed. The clients is looking for more sustainable apparel products, and we have seen practically all major brands developing a line of sustainable apparel products. This is one. Second, when it comes to even in the manufacturing of fabrics here in Mauritius, with the advent of COVID, we were concerned about the development of medical gowns that pass the test of laboratories, and our plants have started developing fabrics with regards to that particular demand that's coming. I'm happy that at least one company came with the development of a fabric that is passing the test of the laboratory, and that will be able to be used for the development of the garments. And first come in the production itself, in the process itself. We cannot spend that much energy. I recall meeting a dye house, and they are engaged in the process of cold dyeing, which implies that there will be a number of benefits when it comes to the energy that's normally used in dye house. So there are a number of actions being taken, both from the perspective of individual operators of their own initiative, from the levels of policymakers in view to create, that particular environment that will immediately adhere to values of sustainability, and also have to take into consideration the exigencies of client, what the client demand is. Because at the end of the day, when we are manufacturing apparel products, we are dressing people of this planet, and we have to care for them.
What a nice way to end there, Girish. Thank you very much. I think just due to time issues, I think it's important that we move on now to our next speaker. So, Girish, you've spoken about the sector in Mauritius from your point of view and what you're doing. And now we're going to look at it from the other side. We're going to look at the sourcing experience from Mauritius. And to talk about that, I'm going to hand over to Lawrence Pillay. As I mentioned earlier, he's the Global Head of Sourcing, Quality and Innovation for Woolworths South Africa and Country Road Group Australia. Over to you, Lawrence.
Thank you, Neil, and thank you, Girish, for giving me the opportunity to address the audience and to share a little bit about our sourcing strategy. I think just to set some context, I think the world of sourcing has radically evolved in the last 5 to 6 years. I think if you think about traditionally, the basics of sourcing was about chasing the lowest cost manufacturing base in the world, and that's where the whole world continued to move. And I think the dynamics of recent, the political, the environmental, the economical dynamics have changed so radically that it's forced many of us to rethink as retailers or procurement agents to rethink the way we do things. We've seen the rise of protectionism, and what protectionism has caused is it's caused countries to start to close borders, countries to form pacts in terms of trade agreements, and the movement of product becoming more and more challenging. And nothing more so than COVID has brought out that point. And I think what we have seen is we've seen radical protectionism, and countries have literally closed out their borders, and that shift alone has caused the shift in thinking about how we source and where we source from. In addition to that, that directly impacts the movement of product, and logistics and supply chains have become a lot more challenged, and more so the world and retailers are looking to move product less and less. And that is also directly linked to the awareness around sustainability and carbon footprints. And again, COVID has caused the realization to dawn on everyone as we watched, the gates of India becoming clearer, or the canals in Venus, the waters becoming clearer. And as the world has watched the entire earth clean up, I think the question around sustainability and carbon footprints have become top of agenda. And therefore, it's become a key influence into making decisions around where we buy. So all of those factors have driven a concept called hyperlocalization, or trying to move closer and closer to home to source your products. And I think that's where I want to share, the incredible journey and partnership that we've had with Mauritius as a region. So within South Africa, we are driving as a business unit, we're driving a broadly localized strategy. So we want to firstly source our products from South Africa, and then beyond South Africa to look at SADC. And in support of a master plan developed within the country, we are driving aggressive growth of our local product. And this is where Mauritius has been an incredible partner to us in the supply of fabrics, both knits as well as woven fabrics, and we've enjoyed that partnership for many years now. So in that perspective, they have been an incredible partner to support our local strategy and growing our local manufacturing. Alongside that, we've enjoyed a great partnership with Mauritius in the supply of specific product types and specific garments that have not been easily available in South Africa, and that has been the next nearest shore that was available for us. So there's been a 15-year partnership that we've enjoyed with Mauritius in that respect, and we have grown from strength to strength. And as a region, what it has offered us is firstly verticality. When you have an operation that you're dealing with that is fully vertical, they're able to react, they're able to turn on, they're able to turn off, and that vertical becomes a huge benefit to us. That verticality also offers them the opportunity to be more cost effective and to manage the price of products that they sell. So that has been incredible for us. And the fact that they're a partner with us with respects to the SADC trade agreement, it means that we can bring out of Mauritius duty-free both fabrics for our local manufacturing as well as product, which has been a huge benefit to us. Also, the Mauritian manufacturers, they deal with many European suppliers, they deal with many American suppliers, and therefore, their product development ability and their innovation has certainly evolved. And through their partnership with all of these big international retailers, they are able to bring newness of product, they're able to bring newness of thinking, and they're able to bring in newness in innovation, which has certainly helped elevate our product in our space. And then, obviously, the fact that they're so close to us, I think the lead times involved in shipping, etc., has been a huge benefit for us. In addition to that, within the value system of our company, Woolworths, we drive the good business journey, and in that space, we're driving many initiatives. So the one is around sustainable fibers, and we're able to partner with many of our Mauritian suppliers to deliver to us, whether that's BCI cotton, whether that's FSC certified viscose, whether that's recycled polyester. They've been great partners in being able to offer us sustainable fibers. The other big initiative that we drive in our good business journey is water stewardship and proper management of water in the manufacturing processes. And most of the in fact, all of the factories that we deal with out of the Mauritius region are green factories. So they have incredible water treatment plants. They supply us waterless denim. The management of the water processing within their dye houses has been incredible. And for that reason, we are proud to partner with the region and to partner with some of those manufacturers that deal with us out of the region. So in that aspect, I think they've been an incredible partner to us. In addition to that, we besides just the water treatment, we drive the eradication of harmful chemicals out of our value chain, and most of the fabrics that we buy, or all of the fabrics that we buy out of that region, we can proudly say, are free of many of those identified harmful and hazardous chemicals as identified by Greenpeace. So, for all of these reasons, we are truly complimentary of the relationship we have had with the Mauritian region so far. The partnerships that we have with many of the suppliers there are strategic partnerships, and they have been also instrumental in providing mentorship and support through their fabric supplies with many of the local CMTs that we have and the manufacturers that we use here in South Africa. So it's been a two-pronged approach. I think Mauritius has been instrumental in supporting our local strategy and our local growth strategy in South Africa, but as well, they've been instrumental in supporting our product strategy from a product authenticity, from a speed to market, from an innovation, and from a good business journey perspective. Like I said, the strategies going forward for many of the retailers across the world is hyper localization, and because of their proximity to South Africa, we believe that Mauritius will continue to play an instrumental role in our forward strategy. So that's basically a quick summary, Neil, of where we are in terms of our relationship with Mauritius as a region. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really good to have you with us today. And there are a few questions coming through that I'd like to pose to you quickly. So the master plan, obviously there's been a big shift around localization, and there's this new word called globalization as well. But unexpectedly, COVID-19 has driven this localization drive in a sense. Do you agree with that statement that's coming through?
Absolutely. When I speak from a Woolworths perspective, I think we've had a local strategy in place for the last 4 to 5 years, where we've been driving local manufacturing and to drive a growth of local manufacturing. However, in saying that, Neil, I think absolutely, I think COVID has forced everyone to stop and think. And I think the challenges with moving goods across the world has become really, really compelling. It's a compelling reality. And I think what COVID has forced is that not only localization, but also verticality in the localization. So not only do you want to be able to manufacture your goods locally, but you still got to ship the fabric, and you still got to ship the yarn, and that all of that just makes it very complicated. So I think COVID has highlighted the awareness for localization, but it's also highlighted the awareness for verticality. So yes, absolutely right.
No, that's great. And then, another question coming through here. So planning and listening to you talking there, one doesn't think and consider every single element in the value chain, but movement of goods, where we are right now, the opening up of borders, all of this, how do you guys at Woolworths manage your planning? So obviously you've got your scenario planning that you put into place, but it must be an extremely difficult task at the moment with everything up in the air.
Absolutely, I think it's we've shifted very quickly to a demand-driven value chain, and we've all seen it happen over the COVID period. At one point in time, when we first heard about the outbreak in Wuhan and the panic set around China, we were trying to get our product out of China as quickly as possible. So we were chasing product in. And then by the time it hit South Africa and we're closing down our stores, we were trying to stop product as quickly as possible. So we've seen that radical shift in value chains. And what it has caused, it's caused a shift in the difference of thinking. And what we realize is we've got to be able to be quick in reacting. And speed to market has become more relevant than ever before. And speed to market as a principle, it doesn't exist. It's actually speed in decision making. So the quicker you can make a decision, and the earlier you can make a decision, the better you're able to react to it. So it's forced us to rethink, our entire development strategy. It's forced us to think about a fabric first approach. So, if you can lay out your fabric up front, if you can bank the fabrics up front, then it allows you and make the decisions around reshaping it later. It allows you then to control the value chain better. And that's why the localization speaks so much better to a demand-driven value chain as opposed to a traditional value chain. So I think absolutely right. It forced us to rethink the way we plan and to think earlier about how we plan so that we can react later.
Great, Lawrence. Thanks for that. You're almost off the hook. Almost. One more question coming through. The one thing that you mentioned was water stewardship. And your general sustainable approach that Woolworths has taken, not recently. It's been a definite strategy for the past few years, and I think Woolworths has led the way there. But is it a case of green first, label second, or is it very much a balancing act at this stage?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, Neil. I think we've been on the good business journey, I think, for the last 15 years. And inherently, it speaks to the culture of the brand, and it's about being responsible in everything we do. And therefore, I think it's intricately entwined. So I think you can't almost have a discussion about one without the other, because it is a foundational element of our values as a brand. And water stewardship plays a key role. And we know that our industry is, it's one of the dirtiest industries in the world. If you look at the amount of water that goes into the basic making of a t-shirt, and therefore we realize, it's the responsible thing to do from day one. And we've been working with setting ourselves standards and setting ourselves small goals just to improve continuously. And I think, we've, in Cape Town, being a Cape Town based company, we've experienced the reality of virtually getting to day zero. And we know the importance of, the water preservation. So I think it's inherently within our value system, and it's something that we've always driven for many, many years now. So I think, you almost can't look at one without the other. That would be my answer, Neil.
No, that's great. Lawrence, thank you so much. And on behalf of All Fashion Sourcing, thank you very much for being part of the panel. Moving on to our next speaker, it's about investing in Mauritius. And it's always important to look at case studies. So a success story, and to talk about his success and the story, the journey that he's taken, Mr. Yuki Yang, the Managing Director of Ji Yun Limited, he's joining us today. So Yuki, over to you.
Thank you very much, Neil. Thank you for Girish to give me this opportunity to share some of my experience being in South Africa, also in Mauritius. Let's take it back to where I come from. I originally come from Taiwan in 1989, which is still apartheid time. And I come to South Africa in that time by opportunity, because there was not enough job, or industry cannot, it's all moving out, textile industry moving out in that time. So I take an opportunity to come to South Africa and working for a company. And then I got an opportunity to run my business since 1996. Okay, so from my working with some company before, I learned one thing is about visions. So whatever we do, we need to have a vision where we move to and which direction we're taking. We just hear from Lawrence about his sourcing his place wherever is the cheapest and more effective place to do buying and sourcing. We as a manufacturer, we thinking opposite, okay? Because we cannot move our buying somewhere quickly, but we always have to, when we're thinking of to set up the factory, we have to think in 5 or 10 years time, or even 20 years time, where we're going to be. So when I started up my business in South Africa in 1996, and in that time was a good place to do manufacturing, because we have in the condition in that time and the political are very stable, and labor are very peaceful, and we have all the infrastructure we needed and to allow us to spend. And there was a time changes, and come to 2010, there was probably come to the peak for the manufacturer here in South Africa. We are thinking now, where is our next step? So we move to Mauritius. The reason why I moved to Mauritius, because we're looking for strengths of what South Africa don't have. Very important for us as a manufacturer, and we need to have good environment. First things, we need to have very stable political situations. We were also looking for very stable labor source and very important infrastructure. And we as a manufacturer and a knitting plant, we use a lot of computerized machines. We use a lot of electricity that using for our washing, laundry, steamer, and even all the knitting machine as well. So electricity I really play a big role. And if we carry on invest in South Africa in 2010, and by now we might, most probably our production might be affected, okay, by short of powers in this country. So in 2013, we invest in Mauritius, and which is a very good move, in my opinion, because I have been making a lot of decisions before. And moving to Mauritius, most probably is one of the best decisions I have ever made, and in terms of investment. So my factory in Mauritius has been running now for 7th year now. And so far, that was very stable and very successful. And every year or two, we have our expansion plan. So we'll keep growing. And our customers are very happy with our supply and delivery on time and delivery in good quality. That most probably is one of a decision I have ever made. One of the reasons that I moved to Mauritius, because not only from South African point of view, and also because of, we can see that China are getting expensive. Even in 10 years ago, we can see China is going to be very expensive. A lot of people were going to moving away from China, go to sourcing elsewhere. And the best place we're going to be will be Mauritius, because it have other benefit. They can produce whatever China can produce. They can have a quick turnaround time to service our main market here in South Africa. They also have a very good middle management, which have a very good experience. They've been working with European companies. So in all this benefit will be enjoyed to invest in Mauritius. And I'm thinking we are going to invest even more. We are even thinking of how our expansion in the next few years. So basically, I would like to share you with more what is my goal going forward. Because in Mauritius, to able to grow, we need to build our own supply chain. Right now, we are knitting and make a garment. My next goal going to be, we're going to bring more investors here into Mauritius, from our yarn manufacturer to dye house and other accessory manufacturer. We're going to bring them in from overseas, abroad to Mauritius. So we can have a good supply chain, and so we can have a good supply. So our customer will have more options. We have a more range, variety to source for. And the next thing also, that because of everybody are moving to sustainable and eco-friendly product. So a few years ago, we already started invest machinery to recycle our water, to have less pollutions. We invest our boiler, become very high efficient in electrical boilers, no more burning oil and not using gas. And very important, and our company, we like to build in the way we don't need to depend on other trade agreement, SADC or AGOA. We have to have a goal that even with or without SADC, our product has to be good and competitive. So with the SADC, obviously is a benefit, but we don't want to depend on it, because we know that policy might changes. Okay, AGOA, it can pull out anytime. So we would like to see that, if we build in our business, we would like to see the long term that can be sustainable and running in Mauritius. There will be, we invest more computer and automatic machines. So however, that I've been in Mauritius now for 7 years, and one of our best manufacturing place compared to China and South Africa. So what I want to share for you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Yuki. That was really good. So good 7 years for you then, hey? It's always great to get a wonderful story. And Girish, you must be so excited about what they've done over the last 7 years and what they're going to do in the next 7 years. But just one question for me, Yuki, and that's coming through is, again, sustainability is obviously key to everybody right now and where we are in the world. But just listening to you there, I love the fact that for years now you've been promoting sustainable measures in your manufacturing plants. You mentioned the machinery and you mentioned the recycling water that you put into the manufacturing process. But are there any other plans? What else can you do in this space just to make it more sustainable, more green?
Okay, obviously, you know, we as a manufacturer and our buyer actually decide what material to use. We cannot tell them. Always we promote our product in a way to be more sustainable, more eco-friendly. For example, you know, we working together with our young supplier. We're using a lot of bamboo fiber. Okay, so we develop our bamboo fiber into our product. I have been trained to very successful because, you know, in the beginning, people are just try a little bit, and now it become one of our main products, okay, to sell to our customer. And in terms of what we can really do in our factory, obviously, you know, is not just for sustainable and eco-friendly, and also for us as a businessman, we're looking at cost as well. For me, it's a benefit for us to use recycled water, okay, and to reduce the waste in the factories. So our next thing we'd like to do, you know, Mauritius is a very good place because we have a whole year have sunshine. Okay, we don't have a snow, we hardly have storms. So we are now, our next plan, we like to use our generating electricity for ourselves. We like to invest the solar panel in our top of our factories, and there's a big space for us to use. According to our study, if we have that in place, we can save at least 25% of energy use, so which will be benefit for us.
That's amazing. I look forward to seeing what you guys are up to, and maybe when if I'm lucky enough, I can come out and visit you guys in Mauritius just to experience the warm weather myself. Girish, you have a question for Yuki.
I must say I'm delighted of the words by both Yuki and also of Lawrence, because it's good to hear from the horse's mouth. It's good to know about people who be service at the end of the day. They're feeling inside it. I'm in fact delighted that all the efforts being put by so many players in between, you know, to serve the number of stakeholders, that they are very appreciative that they are like it. Okay, the point is it's very important to say that, you know, from perspective of Mauritius, it's since day one, we are not looking in terms of buying and selling. We are looking in terms of, you know, nurturing a partnership. And that's what I'm very happy to see, that we have succeeded in that mission, if you want, to nurture partnership, strengthen it, you know, and out of it, engage in a mission. And at the end of the day, it's a mission for your enterprise, sure, it's a mission for the country, too, but it goes along a very big vision of how we are contributing, each one from their particular position, be it at the factory, be we at the level of an agency. We are contributing, you know, in the molding of planet Earth itself, in the we need to do to preserve, protect planet Earth. On the second hand, to serve the citizens worldwide, the global people all around the world, and in a particular visions, you know, of taking care of the planet. So I'm very happy to see that the innovation that you was talking. Lawrence shared his own experience, and all this when we realize we are a very small island in the Indian Ocean. I won't say a very small island that someone may call small. Well, yesterday we referred like key and star of the Indian Ocean, okay, but rather I would say a privileged partner to South Africa.
Girish, that's great. I think the big thing is it might be a small island, but big heart, eh? And I think everything is about partnership now where we are in the world. And on that note, I think we need to end off. So I'm going to thank you, Girish and Lawrence and Yuki. I thought today was a really, really insightful discussion, really some powerful thoughts coming through. Thank you for your time. And to our attendees out there, please join us for our next session coming up soon on All Fashion Sourcing 2020. Thank you, everybody, and take care.